Titanic, did the band really play on?
They didn't as it went down, but they did until quite a late point.
Okay.
But when nobody played much when it was going down. Although loads of people were still on it, obviously.
I wouldn't expect them to be honest. And nor do I think that as musicians I'm not convinced that musicians have an obligation to to remain playing to the bitter end. I'm not even convinced that the standard obligation people believe that captains have to remain with the sinking ship is appropriate. I think it's completely appropriate for everyone to abandon the ship when it's sinking. There's no need for a captain to go down with his ship.
No, he should be the last off though. I think last off.
I'm sure it's kind of a popular misconception, and what it really means is that yes, he's among the last off, rather than he's forbidden from leaving the sinking ship.
Yeah, if others, I believe that he went to the bridge, and then when the bridge got flooded, he dove off into the flood, allegedly. Old Captain Smith on the Titanic.
Well, one would have expected him. Well, I expected him to have a more unusual name.
Why?
Well, the district. I mean, obviously there are many people in society at the time with the surname Smith, but I would have expected him to be, have a more aristocratic name, perhaps. The captain of the Titanic.
I don't think he was
Smithers.
There were a lot of aristos. Yeah, there were aristos on board, all right, but not like the captain was just a captain.
Just an old salty sea dog.
I'm surprised that those well-connected captains of the world were not insinuating themselves into the role of captaining the world's best ship, as it was then known, and as each of you have defended the position, of course, that it was the best ship ever.
Yeah, only when renting that opinion. But there's more. We did find more of a grey area.
You each did it with such sincerity that I don't believe for one moment that you were merely renting those opinions.
I can give you a good sincere in the other direction, probably.
I found you were each much less sincere in the other direction, but
had a lovely ballroom.
I think Titanic is great because it had a lovely ballroom
based on a ballroom in London that we couldn't remember and never returned to.
But in a way, I imagine it's for the best that it sank, because it used so much coal, and obviously wasn't very green as a result. And it occurs to me that there's like a kind of almost a cosmic poetry in an iceberg. Of course, icebergs being one of the great victims of climate change, sinking a ship powered by fossil fuels. You may have touched on that already, but I didn't hear.
We haven't, but that's what this episode is all about. A sideways glance.
I'm sure that someone else in the world has noticed the kind of the cosmic irony in that.
I bet they have. I mean, Johnny's got some conspiracy theories, I think, in his back pocket. And that means
even if I'll adjust my camera so I don't look like I'm listing. Even if even if it were the case that the Titanic was sunk by a giant octopus, these creatures are also susceptible to climate change. So it doesn't change the basic point